9. Now it's 6. Now it's 9. Oh, hi. This reminds me of a riddle with the number 9 and 6 in it. Let's take a look. Now, this is a neat challenge because we're given a statement and it's our mission to decide whether the statement makes sense or not. Robin says, I can find 6 times 9 by multiplying 4 times 9 and doubling it. Does her statement make sense? Well, let's use an array to represent the 6 times 9. Here we have 6 rows times 9. Let me just bring this out so we don't forget what our multiplication is. All right, now we know that Robin is multiplying 4 times 9 and doubling it, which means that we can break apart our array into 2 smaller arrays that are of the same size. Okay, so we're going to break it apart right in the middle, which is right here. Now, first of all, let me get rid of the 6 rows. Take that out. And now we have 2 arrays with 3 rows each. Now notice that the 9 stayed the same. That's not changing. So this means that I can multiply the 3 rows, times 9 twice. And I still get 6 times 9. So 2 of these arrays makes the bigger one. So that means if this is the correct way to write 6 times 9, that means Robin is not correct. Let's take a look at what Robin did. Well, Robin said that she can multiply 4 times 9 twice. Well, if this array has 4 rows and this array has 4 rows, that makes a bigger array that has 8 rows. So in actuality, Robin is multiplying 8 times 9. And there you have it. So although Robin made a mistake, the important thing is she learned from her mistake. So remember, mistakes are valuable opportunities to learn something. Join me next time with some more fun riddles.
Let's do some practice today with the distributive property of multiplication. That property states that multiplying the sum by a number is the same as multiplying each added by that number and then adding the products together. Sounds complicated? It's not. Let me show you with some examples. If I have the equation of 6 times 7, I'm going to solve this problem by building an array, a picture of equal rows and equal columns. So I built my array of 6 times 7. I have 6 equal rows and 7 columns in each row. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this big array and break it up into 2 smaller arrays. Okay, so I'm either going to divide and draw a line up and down. Oops. To divide it this way into an array over here and an array over here, or I can take and I can divide it long ways into an array here and an array here. It doesn't matter either way when you're using the distributive property, as long as you still continue to make sure that your rows are equal and your columns are equal in each array you build within that large array. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a line, and I'm going to draw a line this way. And I'm going to box in that array just so I remember that that is 1/2 or a small part of my big array. Let's write a multiplication sentence to represent the array inside that orange box. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I still have 6 rows. I'm multiplying it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So 6 times 5, I'm going to multiply 6 times 5. 30. And if I'm unsure, I can always count the stars inside the array. Next thing I'm going to do is, I'm not done yet. I need to find the product of the rest of my array. So I'm going to box in just the stars that were not boxed in before. And I'm going to write a multiplication equation to represent those stars inside the pink box in this one. I have 6 rows, but this time in each row, I only have 2 stars. And 6 times 2 equals 12. So now I'm left with 30 and 12. I'm going to take these two numbers and I'm going to add them up to find my final product of 6 times 7. Zero plus 2 is 2. 3 plus 1 is 4. So 6 times 7 equals 42. So this is what I was talking about when the property itself states that multiplying the sum by a number is the same as multiplying each addend by the number and then adding the products. So you're multiplying each addend by a number and multiplying the products there at the bottom when we were doing our 2 separate arrays and then adding those products together. And we got 42 in this example. Okay, let's do another example together. Okay, so let's look at a new equation. Let's look at 3 times 7. I want to know what the product does of 3 times 7 is. And I'm going to use the distributive property of multiplication to solve. I'm going to start by drawing my picture, my array of equal rows and equal columns. In this case, I need 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. In each of those rows, I need a total of 7 counters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do the same thing and make a total of 7 counters in the second row and in the third row. So my array is complete. I have 3 rows and 7 columns. My rows and my columns are equal. They are all the same. Now I'm ready to break it apart and multiply. Again, like I said before, there's no specific way that you need to break your array apart. Okay, there's no set rule. You just need to make sure that your rows and columns are the same. So I'm just going to split mine right here. And I split it this way this time, again, because my 7 is bigger number. I had more columns than I had rows. So that's why I split my columns up. I'm going to write an array to represent this box in picture here, and I have 3 rows times 3 columns. 3 times 3 equals 9. I'm going to do the same thing with my second set here, second equation, or second part of my array, I guess I should say. Write a multiplication equation. 3 times, this time I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. 3 times 4 equals 12. Now, I have my product of 9, and I have my product of 12. To find my total, I'm going to add these two up. So I'm going to add 9 plus 12. 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry my 1. 2. So my answer is 21. 3 times 7 equals 21. I use the distributive property to break apart the larger number of 7 into 2 smaller numbers to make it a little bit easier for me to multiply. The next one I want us to do together, and I want you to grab a piece of paper and pencil or something to write with. Okay, you guys ready with your paper and pencil? Let's go ahead and get started with our array that we're going to do together. Let's do the multiplication equation of 6, oops, get my writing tool ready here. 6 times 4. Write this equation down on your paper. And let's draw the array for 6 times 4. So we're going to draw 6 rows and put 4 counters in each row. So my first row is going to have 6 in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yours should look something like mine. Now I am going to put 4 counters in each row. Let's start with my first row. The first one counts as 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a total of 4 stars in that first row. The second row also needs 4 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4. My next row also needs 4 stars. Finish your array with 6 rows and 4 in each row. I'll give you a second to finish and make sure yours looks similar to mine. You have 6 rows and 4 in each row. Now let's go ahead and split it up. Remember, it doesn't matter which way I split, as long as my rows and columns are equal. This time, since I have more rows going up and down, I'm going to split up my rows going up and down. So I'm going to count down 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to draw a line straight across. I'm going to box in that top array. Let's write a multiplication equation for that array. I have 1, 2, 3 rows. I'm multiplying that by 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 times 4 is how many altogether? 12. So my first product is 12. I'm going to do the same thing with our bottom array. I'm going to box it in. And I'm just using different colors so you guys can see the visualization of the 2 different arrays. I'm going to write a multiplication equation for the pink array, pink box in the array. I have 3 rows, and I have 4 in each row. So I have 12 altogether. So I have my product of 12 and my product of 12. To find my total, I'm going to add these 2 numbers together. 4 and 2. I got 24. So 6 times 4 equals 24. So before I turn you loose to work on your work, I do want to remind you that the distributive property to multiply is a strategy. It's a way to add or way to multiply, I'm sorry. Okay, so normally I say use whatever strategy works for you when you are multiplying. Today's a little bit different. You are going to be using the multiplication and distributive property to multiply. Okay, let me show you one example from your work so it makes a little bit more sense because I have them color coded for you. This is an example of one of the work problems you are going to be working on today, okay? So you're going to be solving 5 times 9. I have already built the array for you. I have 5 rows and I have 9 in each row, okay? What I've also done is I've already taken the big array and built it into 2 smaller arrays, okay, to help you to solve. You have your red counters and your yellow counters. Your yellow counters is 1 array. On the line underneath, you're going to write the total number of columns times the total number of rows in your red array. Then you'll multiply and put that product on the line at the bottom. You'll do the same thing for the yellow array. How many rows on the yellow line, and then how many columns on the other yellow line. So you're still multiplying your rows times your columns. Then you're going to multiply and put that product on this bottom line. When you were done and you found your first product from your red array and your second product from your yellow array, you are going to add those two numbers together to get your final answer of 5 times 9. Okay? There are 3 problems that are color-coded, and you're writing an equation for the array and solving. And then there are 2 or 3 problems that I just want you to multiply whatever way works for you and find the strategy that works for you. For these equations you see with the red and yellow counters, remember to use the distributive property that we have been practicing. And if you need help, please ask your teacher for help and do your best. You can close this video and start your first lesson slides.